All right. So what's with the wife's bow situation? What's that
The
all
what
about?
now? Oh, the what? Yeah, well, we got her a new Prime. The boys over at Prime got her dialed in, and she was shooting a kind of a beginner type bow before, and she shot a big one with it and whatever. But this got her a good bow now. I think it's the oh my gosh, I feel so stupid. It's a new carbon limbed one. The
Sure. I think it's the form.
was it? Say it again.
The form, maybe?
The form. Yeah, there it is. That's it. Yeah, it
I
looks
shot
pretty
a I
nice.
shot a prime last year. I shot a prime last year and I loved it.
Yeah, they're beautiful, man. They're great. That's what I'm shooting now, the form now. I had the one before it, and then I shot Hoyts too. They're all nice bows, but yeah, this prime bow is amazing.
Cool. Yeah, it's kind of getting that time where it seems like it kind of catches up on you getting your stuff together. And I'm sure you're kind of
I'm
like
last
everybody else,
minute.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm the
Yep.
last minute king. Always last minute.
Probably
That's
not
how I roll.
not a terrible thing. You don't overthink it that way. You
Yeah,
kind of know your system if that works for you.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I'll grab the bow and shoot it, and I mean, I feel like you put your anchor and you put your peep and you shoot, and I don't know, man. I don't. I mean, I probably need to shoot a way more than I do, but it's like, man, I grab it and I do the same thing. And it's like, I don't know how many times I need to shoot a bow. You know what I mean? I need to shoot it more than I do. I do agree with that, but it's like, man, I ain't bored.
Yeah, I feel you there. It seems like every year I'm like I need to shoot more and it just getting busier and busier with stuff going on and it's life never slows down it seems like so it's but
That's right. So where are
for
you
sure.
located?
Wisconsin.
Okay, yeah, I love that area. That's one of my favorite places to fish.
I was going to ask you that question. I know they had the Bassmaster here or part of the tour a couple
Uh-huh.
months ago. Is that were you part of that? Did you fish down here?
Nope, I wasn't. I fished an open there. I fished the Bassmaster Opens. I fished it last year. I actually got crazy deal. There's the lock. I went up to pool 7. I was on some pretty good smallmouth and got a pretty good bag. And I wanted to leave myself, 3 to 4 hours. It's saying reconnecting, but hopefully we're good. I I wanted to leave myself 3 to 4 hours to get through that lock, and I couldn't get through it. Man, they had a tugboat go through there. It took 4 hours to get through the lock. And I was there with like 4 or 5 locals that fish here all the time, and they said they've never seen it like this before. There was also 2 former Bassmaster Classic champions in the same lock that ran the lock wrong, and I mean, they just ran it for way too long, and man, it was a bummer, man. So that
Was
cost
it
me like
just
$4,000 guaranteed.
so is that just because the water level was low or what?
No, I think they had something go on in the lock, and then when I was wanting to get in there, they wouldn't let me in. So I get there. I gave myself 4 hours to get through there before I have to weigh in. So then I could still fish down in pool 8. Well, I ended up getting through there or getting close to it, and the gates were just start to move, and they wouldn't let me in. So I'm like, damn it, man. How? Like, I guess I'll just wait till the next one. Whatever. I'll go fish, and then once they blow the horn or whatever, I'll roll in and get in that next lock. Well, yeah, it was like 3.5 to
Yeah.
4 hours later. So I missed my way in by an hour, I think.
Yeah. But
Stupid.
yeah, this area is crazy as like whatever you want to do. The river's right there. Great deer hunting, great turkey hunting. It's kind of like,
Here.
you got it all.
It is a
But yeah,
beautiful place.
I'm not much of a fisherman myself. All my friends do. I should probably pick it up because I'm kind of in an area that there's so much opportunity for it. Kind of missing out, I feel like. But
Heck yeah. No, well, you might have to go with them sometime. Ruin a few. Yeah.
yeah. So before we get too far in the weeds, why don't you introduce yourself? I'm sure people kind of know who you are between Whitetail Adrenaline and other stuff, but you got other stuff going on recently, it seems like. So maybe introduce that a little bit, what you got going on just all around.
Well, Chancy Walters. I'm a self-taught wildlife artist. I love to chase big bucks. Used to like to chase women, but I'm married now, so I can't do that no more. I love waterfowl hunting. Actually, I mean, I love everything hunting. My dad never hunted. I grew up kind of doing it on my own and watching TNN Outdoors. That was my era. Channel 25 TNN. If guys, I'm 41, so guys back when they were young, they know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know. How old are you?
27, so that's
Oh, 26.
probably
You're young
a little
pup,
before
bud.
my time.
You don't remember
Yeah.
TNN probably, but that's where I kind of learned the lingo. And I had an uncle and a buddy of mine's dad that took me. My dad loved to fish. He just wasn't a hunter. And I had another buddy, Kevin Bills is his name, and he got me into bow hunting. And that just triggered the whole damn deal. And obviously grew up fishing, tournament fishing. I fished my first tournament when I was like, I think 14 and it was like a 50 boat tournament and I won that. So that ruined, I mean, I just fueled the fire for
Yeah.
the tournament fishing. And it was literally, I think, the first or second set I've ever set with a bow. Well, I hit him. I was shooting a Fred Bear Black Bear plastic cam bow. And I was shooting, I think, 27.515 aluminum arrows. This is aluminum. There were no carbon.
That's
Aluminum
probably
arrows
foreign to
with,
a lot
yeah,
of
and it
people.
had. I remember there were Eastons. I think 27.515. I could be wrong. And I was shooting a 4-blade Muzzy chisel tip, 100 grainer, and this big old bastard come over the hill. Now that I look back at it, when I was younger, I look back at it now. It was a 170-inch deer. One of the first times I was out bow hunting, and it literally come down through chasing a doe, and I stopped it and I shot and I hit him right in the shoulder blade. Well, it takes off running with my arrow, and oh my
Yeah.
God, I was like, holy shit, I've never seen a deer like that in my life, you know? And it was like, wow, they're chasing the girls around. This is the time to kill the big ones. And it was over after that. And I ended up doing that, but
So
killed my
was
first buck I ever shot on the ground. I snuck in on this deal and he come up through the horse weeds and I was on the ground. I stopped him. I put it right behind his shoulder and I hit him square in the ass. I don't have a clue. I must have hit a horse weed, but he didn't. He ran, probably a couple hundred yards and piled up. But that was my first experience with a bow.
so was fishing like your first love, I guess, or like you started out doing that and
I'm
then
glad I don't have to choose.
yeah, that right. You have a pretty flexible schedule because your obviously first career before, the bass fishing thing took off was the painting and like your
Yes.
personal businesses. Did you kind of know that going in like, hey, I love to do this, but it's something that would allow me in the future to kind of whether or not you knew it would kind of take off like it did, um, kind of set you up to have like a more free schedule, I guess.
Yeah, I'll tell you my artwork has gave me the opportunity to do everything that I've got to do. That was my in. I've told that to a lot of people. Artwork, being an artist, has gave me the opportunity to meet amazing people, famous people, be invited. That was kind of my niche, just like singing. But yeah, artwork has gave me the opportunity to. I look back at it. I don't know if I would have met a lot of the connections I have and got to do the things I have at the extent that I have if I wasn't an artist. So my dad, I got to thanks to my dad for obviously genetic art talent. He was an artist too, not a wildlife artist like I am, but he was more of a cartoonist, pinstriping, signs before vinyl and stickers. He was an artist that way, and yeah, I got it genetically through him. I always say, it's either you can just even like people that can sing, you either can sing or you can't. You can't learn to be a badass singer. You got to kind of naturally have it, and I got lucky and got the art talent, and I've been using it my whole life.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
I think a lot of people like the one question that you hear so much and like people talking about is whether it's younger people or even middle-aged people, it's like, how do you get to hunt so much? Or like, I would like to hunt, all year and all this stuff. And it's like one common theme between everybody that gets to do that is that usually they're a little bit later in life. They've experienced a lot of things and they've all come from different backgrounds. It's like
yeah,
there's no cookie cutter way for it to happen. It just kind of things happen.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not it's not real. It's not realistic for a lot of people. Which
yeah,
there's a select few that get to do it, and it's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess I wouldn't necessarily follow my path. but I've kind of just, I've never wanted to work for anybody. I want to work. I want to be the boss. I want to be, make my own schedule. And, I wanted that freedom. And, I was lucky to be able to do some things. I mean, I ain't making no bunch of money. I mean, I got some stuff in the fire that hopefully work out, but right now I just get by and I get to chase the things I love to do. I mean, I don't know if hell, I could die tomorrow. And it's like, there's so many people that live this life that they think they're going to live, to 70, 80. I don't know if I'll live that long. And who wants to spend that money when they're an old geezer out walking along the beach? I'm right here right now. I'm full tilt right now doing the things I love to do. I can't gamble on me living to 80. So there's a lot of people that live life for other people. I mean, I'm living in the moment, and I try to tell this to a lot of people. A lot of people just, they wait. Oh, I can't wait to retire. And obviously things are different for a lot of different people, but I can't gamble on that, man. I want to live right now, right here, right now. And I don't know, I've been blessed to be able to do some things, and I'm just living, man. I don't need a lot, man. I don't need a ton of money. I don't need a lot of things that a lot of people need. I mean, I don't got no fancy vehicles and shit. I got a Toyota Tundra. That's a damn nice truck. But like, just because I travel, like, you got to have something reliable. But yeah, man, I think a lot of people, they just get away from that thinking one of these days I'll get to do all the things I love to do. Hell with that shit. Make shit happen. Right
Make it
now is the
happen. Yeah.
time to do it. So,
Yeah.
words of wisdom.
Well, yeah, it's good to hear, because I think that's why a lot of people think they can relate to you, or really the whitetail adrenaline stuff you guys do and the content you guys put out, because it's just so down to earth, so relatable. It's just different from, it was the first of its kind, and it just showed people that there's no set way to do things, and that maybe a different way is the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty special what Jared's got going. I'm glad to be a part of it. Gosh, man, yeah, I knew it was unique when I first seen a little clip of it when he had his first DVD, and I knew it was something special. And I mean, I never thought I would ever be a part of it or whatever. We just grew to be friends, and obviously that whole, it's time. I lost actually some. You maybe have heard the story before. I've done a few stories on this, but I like literally. I had some nice private ground, and before you know it, there's tree stands hung next to mine and this, and everybody's battling to try to get these pieces. I had to hide my damn truck and just crazy shit. And it wasn't fun for me. And Jared sensed it. He's like, yeah, I can't, cause he asked me, he's like, man, I want to put a cameraman on you and we can film some hunting and stuff. And, document this and be a part of Whitetail Drown. I'm like, I don't know about leaving my private pieces to go jack around on the public. And anyways, I lost enough ground and just didn't want to deal with shit that finally he's like, are you ready or what? And I'm like, let's do it. And I've been doing it ever since with him. And I'm happy I made the decision to, roll the dice with J. Rod Scheffler. He is the herd bull of production, and he thinks outside the box, and he's an artist at what he does. He's got a beautiful template for sure.
Yeah. I think he's probably inspired a lot of people to kind of start making content and just real,
Yeah.
raw. YouTube is coming back, and I think he's one of if I could throw out like a handful of names, he's one of the people, and that probably has driven that in the last handful of years, I would say, for sure.
Oh yeah,
In a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, you got the public hunting guys. They watched Whitetail Drill and seen that, and they took over the YouTube space with the public stuff. It's pretty awesome how they did that. Jared doesn't want to do none of that stuff. Maybe dabble with it in the future. I don't know, but yeah, he's got a different template how he does things, and it's his baby. There ain't no telling J. Rod what to do. He's got a system, and I don't mess with the system. So it's his art piece. He's painting it. I'm not painting his art piece. So I'm just here to kill some stuff and try to kill some stuff. we got some sick stuff coming, boys. I'm telling you, some of the best stuff of all time's yet to come.
Yeah,
like people have never seen. It's cool, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's cool to hear, because I know I'm a viewer every time the videos come out. I'm on the pre-order. waiting for it, ready to watch it. And it's definitely something I look forward to. So it's good to hear.
When
But
are you gonna when are you gonna air this little podcast?
uh,
You think? I'm just no. I mean, no rush. I'm just asking because I don't want to say stuff.
it's probably going to be end of this month or early November, kind of depending on
Nice.
what
Okay.
kind of falls
Well,
in. I like to
it's
kind of
getting
line them up with the time of year what we're kind of talking about, make it
yeah,
a little bit
nice.
relevant for people
Well,
listening.
it's getting close. He's in production right now, and he's about ready to. It'll be towards there. I mean, I'm guessing the end of October. The DVDs are gonna be starting to ship. It's gonna be cool. So it's done. He's just color grading and stuff, and it's an amazing set. It's gonna be awesome. And then the next year's stuff's on another level. It's unbelievable. I'm excited about it, man. Just some really amazing stuff. Some extreme shit that it's just awesome that we captured it the way we did. Some of the best stuff of all time's yet to come.
Yeah,
Like people have
that's
never
cool.
seen. It's cool, man. I'm excited.
That's I, yeah, that's cool to hear because I know I'm a viewer every time the videos come out. I'm on the pre-order, waiting for it, ready to watch it, and it's definitely something I look forward to. So it's good to hear. But
When are you gonna air this little podcast? You think? I'm just no. I mean, no rush. I'm just asking because I don't want to say stuff.
it's probably going to be end of this month or early November, kind of depending on
Nice.
what
Okay.
kind of falls
Well,
in. I like to
it's
kind
getting
of line them up with the time of year what we're kind of talking about, make it
yeah,
a little bit
nice.
relevant for people
Well,
listening.
it's getting close. He's in production right now, and he's about ready to. It'll be towards there. I mean, I'm guessing the end of October. The DVDs are gonna be starting to ship. It's gonna be cool. So it's done. He's just color grading and stuff, and it's an amazing set. It's gonna be awesome. And then the next year's stuff's on another level. It's unbelievable. I'm excited about it, man. Just some really amazing stuff. Some extreme shit that it's just awesome that we captured it the way we did.
Well, kind of the reason I wanted to have you on specifically was just your perspective when it comes to transitioning from more of like a tree stand hunter to the ground and then hunting more like you're a Midwest guy, hunting a little bit more open ground. Because I think that's just something that a lot of people can't relate to just because they don't have the means or the time to travel to someplace like that, or maybe they're they do live and hunt in that type of terrain or do the things that you do, but it's not what talked about enough, or there's no one
Yeah,
kind of telling people how to do it or telling them stories to where I'm a story guy. So like I pick up
yeah.
things based on stories. I take little pieces of a story and I kind of like try to use that. I'm not like a do this, do that kind of person. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of people out there like that. So, I just kind of want to hear your, I guess, why you like the reasons why you kind of shifted to the ground, being more mobile and not getting away from the tree stand stuff.
Well, mainly, obviously, the switch was Jared was just doing on the ground. So therefore, when I went to hunt with him, that's what we were going to be doing. And the tree stand game, which I knew the ground game, even though killed my first buck ever with a bow doing it. But I knew the lingo. It's just, treat the deer like a turkey, a really smart turkey. And it's like, I just kind of, to make the adjustment, you got to, I think, be a lot more aggressive. You got to be aggressive. You got to you can't wait for these deer. Certain situations you got to, but you learn through trial and error and messing up. And I mean, this stuff, learn every little hunt, you learn something new of kind of like, okay, well, that worked, that didn't work. I probably should have pressed that. And then after a while, your instincts kick in and you're not even like second guessing yourself. You're just naturally doing it. When to cover the distance, or if he's bedded, do I need to bring is it a decoy situation or is it a sneak situation? Do I need to kill him in the bed? Is this something that I need to cut him off? You learn every situation with these deer. Making the transition, you want to you want to get in areas where you can see a lot, because if you're, the timber deal, it's tight. It's too tight to start out doing the ground game. You want to actually get in your damn vehicle and cruise and just watch deer and learn little things from a distance and not just rush in all the time. You get a big one, obviously you're getting bedded. I mean, it's game on, play the wind and jive, figure out the system, the lay of the land's key. It's most of the time it's the lay of the land, how to get in there undetected. The wind, I just keep the wind in your face or crosswind and just cheat it just enough. Man, it's what the tree stand. Trust me, I love tree stand hunting still. I miss doing it. My wife, I kind of have her in a lot of my old spots that I used to hunt, so it's kind of I get to live through her. And she killed a giant there a couple years ago, and that girl should have over 5 deer over 170 with her bow. It's just, her starting out shooting was kind of, she didn't know to, there were shots that she should have took, but she was holding back because she wanted these perfect shots and stuff. And that game don't happen. You gotta make
It's
shit
like,
happen.
yeah, it's anybody when you were young, when you first started, and my dad was always that too, where he'd say things that happened that maybe didn't work out, but he knew in the back of his head, that's just stuff you got to figure out on your own. And that's the only way you're going to kind of get that instinct.
100%, man.
And it's just, like you said, it's just going with your gut. Like you said, you're not going to get a perfect broadside shot every single time, and hardly ever, it seems. And it's just, it's something you gotta be out there. You got to do it. You got to miss deer. You got to have them blow you out. You just got to have shit happen. That's just how you learn.
That's right. You got to make things happen. And I'll tell you, man, I've thread some needles, and as long as their vitals are open, I don't care if there's a big ass limb going down through the gutter. You got to just aim in them small areas. A lot of times, yeah, man, just, I don't know, man. It's just, I love chasing deer with a bow. I mean, there was a big one that I was on last year that you guys are going to freak out when you see this crazy stuff that went down. It was, I don't know if I can really talk about it yet, just because I don't want to ruin what producing and da. But the biggest deer in my life I'll probably ever have a chance at. I had to, let him walk. Crazy.
So let's hear, maybe like I said, I'm a story guy, and I'm sure you got plenty of stories.
You ask questions, I'll answer. You tell me.
So try to take me back to try to paint a picture for people. I mean, that's what you do, is paint pictures. This is a little bit different, but that first, maybe let's just say the first year you really committed on the ground. I feel that's a mental hurdle for people. And for me, I hunt on the ground, and I'm in hill country, so it's a little bit different. There's not a lot of open, flat ground. I'm from the northern part of the state where it's flat, where I grew up kind of here and there. Situations were a little bit better for that. But I've been kind of trying it a little bit more, because I just loved it so much, and just the flexibility of everything, not to be tied down to a spot and just other things you won't really get into. Try to take us back to maybe that first year where you really committed to on the ground saying, hey, I might struggle, and being okay with that, but just full bore ahead. I'm committing to it. I'm learning as much as I possibly can. Going to struggle, but I'm doing this because I need to learn, and I'm just hunting on the ground. Think of maybe a story or like some stuff you learned that first year.
I'll give you some mistakes that I don't, to stay away from. Don't just go walking into a public piece. A lot of people like, oh, there's a little ditch over there, timber. I'm just going to go walk over there and check it out and see if I see some deer. You don't do that. You want to stay back. If there's an area that kind of catches your interest, you want to stay back and watch it. Give it a morning, give it an evening, see what's moving, see where the deer naturally want to be in that area. And then you learn a lot instead of just rushing in and blowing deer out of spots, because you don't know where they're at. You go walking in somewhere, and some bitches can be bedded anywhere. So it's like, you got to set back in the grandstand. You got your VIP ticket, watch the game, and then learn the game, and then slide in and make your moves and figure out where you want to get on an area that you're wanting to maybe go in and do some rattling sets or still hunting. I know the decoy thing, that is a very touchy deal. You can't, so the turkey reaping stuff, I started all that stuff. You can't just go at them like that with a turkey. Deer are so touchy with that. You cannot walk. you can get away with some stuff if they're not focused or whatever, but if they're focused on you and you're going at them with a decoy, you ain't, they don't like that jerky movements of stuff. Deer are
Mhm.
so smooth when they walk. There's no, you got to get in position and then pop the decoy up on the decoy stuff. But the main thing I think that people need to do if they're wanting to get into it, which obviously we're running into a ton of people doing this now. So it's kind of like, obviously we're promoting it. Can't be mad at it. And I've never been upset. It's public ground. But if you're covering ground on knock on door, uncuffed, which we do uncuffed, Jared will let me, if I see a big buck somewhere and I don't know the landowners at all, I can knock on the door and get permission. And that's free game to anybody. You could have got permission, maybe, I can talk the lingo pretty good to these, try to get in these the places. If I see a good one, the number one goal, don't tell them there's a big buck out there ever.
Yeah.
I've told this before. Hey man, you got a big buck out. You care if I go get it? And instantly in their mind, big buck, they're like, oh, my grandson's got to get a tag. I want him to shoot the big buck. You just say, man, it's been tough. There's deer. Don't ever say bucks. Don't say the size. No, they don't need to know that lingo. That's all you need to do is get permission. You don't got to go into depth on how big the deer is and this and that. Absolutely not. That'll ruin your chance 3/4 of the time. So there's a little words of wisdom. But covering ground is the key. Just setting back. I mean, get in that damn vehicle, turn the heat on, turn the radio on, and just cruise around and glass as much area as you can. Find a big one, and then when you find a flavor of buck that you want, slide in and get a game plan. Try to get permission, public, get a game plan, and slide in and kill his ass, and just make things happen. Every situation is different, but I think covering ground's the main thing. Being aggressive. Do not just go rolling into a piece. I think that's a bad way to do it. A lot of people, I think, just go walking. That looks pretty good. Let's just go walk in there and check it out. Well, it's
Right.
best just to wait till the evening to see. Yeah.
You can have success that way, but like you were kind of saying, I don't think people realize how many times they kind of screw themselves doing that before they walk in a spot and, oh man, this looked pretty good last week when I was in here. There's sign everywhere. I'm not seeing any deer. I don't think you realize how much damage you're doing walking in there. You don't, when you're not thinking about little things too, you're kind of wrecking your hunt before it even starts because,
Yeah.
I mean, so most of the time you're saying that you're going off something visual that tells you need to be in there and then be aggressive almost every time.
Exactly. Because, dude, I can't tell you how many miles I've covered and not even see a deer over, the quality that I want to hunt or whatever. I'm talking a week straight, daylight to dark, driving 200 to 300 miles, glassing, and you don't even see a buck. So what's telling me that I'm going to go down in here in this little thicket and there's going to be a deer that I want to shoot there? If there's no big buck there, you can't shoot a big buck there if there ain't a big buck there. You know what I mean? So once you get visual on one, now you're like, okay, there's a deer of the caliber I want to shoot. Everybody's flavor is different. Now I know for sure I'm going after a deer that I want. And, kind of the guess game, that's fine. If you just, any buck's good, then that's fine. But, if you want to kill a big one, you got to get an eye on a big one first and then make the moves. But the timber hunting, like we do a lot of that too. And the key with the timber thing that I think, if it's thick and you can't get, you got to go in and just, hopefully it's windy and you can just inch in there, stop, wait for a while. Maybe you'll catch some movement, spot one before they spot you, a little bit further, still hunting. And then, maybe you'll see one chasing a doe and then you can make a little move in there and, crazy things happen. So if it's tough and you ain't seeing nothing, sometimes it's good just to go slide into a piece. And, but take your time in there, just a little bit, stop and wait.
Right.
Give
Like
10,
I was going to
15
ask
minutes,
too,
slide a
like,
little bit further. Yeah.
whether, I don't know, I'm sure this happens to you, but whether you do this or not, like, it probably can get burnt out running all over all the time, for weeks on end. Like have you ever had a situation where maybe you're observing a certain area and you see just a pile of bucks going in and out of a spot? You ever slip in a spot and just sit there for half a day and just hoping something's gonna, like if there's a doe in there or something, just hoping something will come by, or is it not really your
Yeah. If I
game?
seen some quality deer in the area and a spot and nothing's going on, and like let's say it's getting, let's say I seen some deer last night and they were kind of in a little area, and there was a bunch of them. And I don't really got I'm out on nothing. I haven't spotted anything throughout the day. Yeah, I'll get up in there and get downwind of that area, and maybe I'll get a shot at one. But yeah, I'll do moves like that in the evenings. And mornings is a tough thing because you don't know where those deer are at when you pull up, and you could be blowing out the biggest deer you've ever seen in your life. Because they're moving around chasing. They could be here, they could be there, and going rolling in somewhere in the morning doing the ground thing is sometimes really risky. You want to get eyeball on the animal first, or get where you need to be before the animals come out. The morning thing is very touchy with hunting on the grounds.
What year did you kind of like transition fully to the ground? I feel like it's not been like
Maybe
super long for you.
10 years ago, probably 10. Yeah,
And you're probably still learning to this every single time
my
out there.
God,
You're learning something. It's
learn.
not like you're gonna figure it out right away.
No, I mean, yeah, it's been just oh my God, so many little things you learn, and I still, we all mess up, but you learn to not mess up as much is the key. I feel, you learn to feel confident going in on an animal in a certain situation. You kind of been through a situation close to that, so you use those things that you learned there, whether you needed to get in there quicker or whatever. And I tell this a lot. There's so many times I've missed opportunities on giant deer, being a few seconds late, a minute late, where I was sitting here contemplating whether I needed to get over there, and me thinking about it that whole time. That was the time I should have been getting over there. And if I would have been there, I would have killed the deer. And so it's like, you got to kind of, Skeeter, get out of there, my dang dog. And it was one of those deals where there's so many little things. It's just, sometimes you just got to go with the flow. You got to just learn. You got to get out there. You're going to fail more than you are going to win. That's for sure. I mean, I've messed up some serious situations, big bucks, but sooner or later, one makes a mistake and you do the right thing, and all it pays off all them times that it didn't work out.
And I'm sure you've seen this too. If you can look back at the times that you were successful, if things just seemed to work out so well, there's way more to the story about something like that happened during that hunt, whether something went bad earlier or you could foresee something bad happening later, and that's why you had to make a move that you maybe normally wouldn't do, or make that split second decision and just go for it. And then it's just wild how things kind of come together in them moments. And you look back, you're like, normally I would never do something like that. Or like, man, I took a chance and it actually worked. It always seems like every single time it works out, there's something like that.
Yeah, that's the best. Those are the best moments, when in the heat of the moment, you're like, you know what? I need to show him the decoy. And all of a sudden, the damn thing, here he comes stomping in, and you deck him. It's like, holy shit, man, that was the moment. But the key is, you got to fun stuff. I love the decoy stuff. Get in and become one with one, and they coming into battle. You've never seen a deer just come. I've had a lot of people, man, you're going to get killed by a damn deer. No, I've never, ever in history have ever seen a deer go on a mad dash run and plow another deer. They posture up, they show the body language and all this shit. And then that's when you whack them. There's a lot
And
of little things. Yeah.
and if you did get killed by a deer, that'd probably be the coolest way to
Hey,
go out
man, it
of
was
all
my
of them.
time. It was my time.
Yeah.
G2 double lung by a G2. I mean, I don't want to go out that way, but yeah, it would be, that'd be just, you just lay flat, man. If you got one coming at you, just lay it on your back. I mean, they're going, they'll just plow the decoy and go run right over you. They ain't going to try to, I don't know. That situation has never, I don't think that'll ever happen, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So you hunt a lot of like mid-October and later, correct? Like you're not doing a lot of hunting like super early season.
I have not hunted before the 25th of October in 10 to 12 years. Just because
And as
we only have a certain amount of time, and the deer ain't really showing themselves as much until about then anyway. We're not hunting a place where we got a plot and cameras everywhere and you get on a pattern on a big buck. If you have that, yeah, you want to hunt early and hunt the cold fronts and all that, but we're not, we can't afford them paying somebody to film us for dang 2 months. I mean, October, pretty much got people have lives. They just can't break away from their families and come and film us for, a month straight, So my buddy TC and Matt, they got windows that they can make stuff happen. It's not like we're hunting on the weekends. We're hunting every day. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, usually, 20 days. So yeah, I kind of used when's the best time that I want a cameraman. And I picked those, 20 to 30 days and I would rather not hunt early. I'd rather start around Halloween time. That's when
Right. And
shit gets game.
you're just using that because that's just your style. Like
Yeah,
that's when the deer are up moving during the day, and that's just when you're going to get your opportunities. You're just kind of
exactly.
using that time of year. So it's not like you're doing this. A lot of people might get discouraged. They're like, I want to try ground hunting. They start opening day, and that first month is
Yeah,
just
no.
garbage,
Yeah,
and
it
then you're
is.
just blowing up all your spots. And then you can get burnt out. Then when the good time of the year comes around, you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you just go back to how you were doing it before. And it's just like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So
If somebody does want to hunt early, they have, let's say they got, they're only hunting the weekends. Okay, you got all season. You got to make something happen. I recommend going out in the evenings, in the mornings. Early in the mornings are good this time of year to spot a deer, and then you can like, okay, he's coming out of here. You watch him from a distance. Don't be thinking you're going to slide in and kill one. You want to set back on the high hills and watch a deer and get an eyeball on one. You can get an eyeball on a pretty good buck this time of year from the road. You just got to cover a lot of ground. Once you get one spotted, he's probably going to do the same damn thing. So once you get him spotted, you get a game plan to slide in there in the evening. Hopefully, the evenings when you got to hunt them, because in the morning, like I said, you'd be going down there and blowing damn deer left and right. It's not like we're hunting the rut in there and you're catching cruisers and stuff. You know what I mean? This is a early season. You can ruin it quicker and you can start. And by just it's actually way easier than people think, man. Drive until you spot a big one and then make a game plan on it. And or you can slide in and try to get lucky, but I think it's almost worth sacrificing a couple 2 or 3 days hunting to then get the right moment and try. If you're hunting a good buck, a real good buck, you got to sacrifice some days that you ain't even gonna touch foot on. You ain't even gonna touch your bow. You know,
you're just
sacrifice
putting the
is
odds
key.
you're just putting your odds in your favor because like you were saying, like you don't even step foot and go after a deer until you know he's the kind of deer you want to go after and he's in a
Yeah,
spot you think you got a shot at him where
yeah. And what
it,
made me transition that made me get confident in that is I've covered way too much ground. I've covered way too many miles and not seen a good buck. And they ain't around every corner like people think. And I'm not going in somewhere unless unless it's I'm just doing some rattle sets or it's a new piece or, it's been shitty and just get out of the truck and, you want to go do something. I mean, it wears you out driving nonstop. It's just like you got to kind of get out and do some things sometimes, but it's better off just getting an eyeball on one and then making a game plan. It really is. It's worth the sacrifice. A lot of guys, if you only have a couple days to hunt, that sucks because then you got to go in and to expect to kill a big buck in 3 to 4 to 5 days is very rare. You got to kind of
you got to temper your expectations a little bit based on the time you got because it's not easy.
yeah, it's got to be real. You got to be realistic with yourself. Say you got 5 days to hunt. That'd be the most stressful thing in the world to be able to just have that, but that's what some people get, and that's what you got. And you got to understand that it might not happen, but it could happen on the first set. But to be
Especially in a
successful at
place
it,
you're not familiar with too. Like if you're
yeah,
going to a different state, somewhere you've never been before, and like you're saying,
mhm,
how much of that time's driving around, figuring stuff out. A lot of times you don't start figuring out until day 3, 4, 5, 6 of a trip. So just having your
yeah,
expectations
you're right, yeah.
but
I hope
I kind of want to
everybody,
get,
yeah, go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. Finish your
I
thought.
hope everybody gets the month of November off. No work allowed. And
We're
I
not the
mean,
government. Not everybody shuts
Chancy
down
for
for a whole
president.
month. And
No, I no, no. Then it'd be a real. If everybody could hunt every day, it's. I
well,
don't
it'd
know,
probably be
man.
very fun.
No,
But I kind of, I want to get into this with you too before either we cut out or
I think we're
whatnot.
good
But
now. I think we're good now.
okay,
I got pretty good
cool.
connection now.
Okay. Um, I want to get into a little bit about like your rattle sets. and like time of year you start doing those, kind of your approach to that, and then a little bit more about like maybe even go into more detail, like how aggressive you get with them, how long your rattle sets are, how often. Just kind of dive into like your rattle set kind of game.
Yeah, the rattle thing is, I feel like my favorite time to rattle is from like the 25th, 26th to November 5th. And that's usually, there's not hardly any does in heat, but there's getting to be a few of them are getting ready to pop, and they're covering as much ground as they can. They're aggressive. They're trying to fire up that first doe. And that is when they come to the horns really well. There's That's a really good time. Sometimes a lot of people don't understand peak of the rut's really good. And the reason that is because you'll have you'll have your mature deer. Sometimes your mature deer is not the biggest deer in the area. Sometimes your satellite bucks are the biggest bucks. Sometimes, let's say you got a 6-year-old giant 8-pointer, he's on the hot doe, and now he got 3 or 4 satellite bucks that are, hanging close by, maybe waiting for, maybe to try to steal that deer. And then you rattle them satellite bucks are like, oh, what's going on over there? And that's a lot of times when people call deer in, they're calling in the satellite buck. They're not calling in the buck that has a doe. Buck is not going to leave a doe to come fight 90% of the time. You're calling in most of the time when you're calling a deer in randomly, you're calling in the satellite bucks.
Yeah, I think if you took like some sort of like if you could somehow get like data on that, like people that rattle all the time or like have pretty good success doing it, I would say over 75%, probably more towards that 90% tile, I guess,
Yeah.
are subordinate deer or not the biggest one in the area, like you were talking about. Like how many times have you rattled one in? A lot of times it's a little dink or a little 4-point, little basket rack 8 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of get lucky when you're in a target rich area like you are or I am, where your deer are a little bit bigger. You got some more mature animals. Your odds of that satellite buck being, you know, something you'd want to shoot is probably a little bit better. So
Yeah.
people kind of need to take that in consideration when you're rattling in deer too. You're probably not going to rattle in a giant every time or
No.
hardly ever.
This is a good example. I've done probably 20 plus rattle sets last year, 20 plus the year before, and never rattled a deer over 125 to 130 inches in. So it just wasn't going on. I mean, I just never did ever catch a buck, rattle a buck in. I mean, the last big mature shooter that I rattled in was that big one that I was on my damn cell phone with and was checking on Onyx. Cost me a mega giant.
I'm
So,
sure
I
you
mean,
probably went over that story on a different podcast, but go into like how that happened. Not that you want to relive it again and again, but I'm sure you already do in your head.
I think about it every day. I know that situation. I slide into a spot was okay. This is a spot that I seen the year before that had it looked good. Didn't see no quality deer there, but it's a spot midday. Let's do some rattle sets. Let's just slide in. I'm gonna rattle a couple times in there. We'll see what happens. Let's just go out the fly. I told Matt that day. I said I bet we probably rattle in the biggest deer of my life. Literally just being. That's just how I always am. And literally slide in there and I set up on the spot. I didn't get too deep. There's the main cover. I got close, but not in deep. And I like to do that first because sometimes that weird feeling. You're like, man, I think I'm gonna scare something. You know what I mean? When you get that feeling, you just got to stop most of the time because you probably are gonna scare something. And if you're gonna go 10 more yards and you think they're not gonna hear it, or you get 10 more yards, you're gonna get more. They're gonna hear it now. Then they're probably not going to hear it anyway. So get to where it's comfortable. Okay, I didn't mess anything up. That's where you need to set up. That spot I set up early, and like I said, kind of nosebleed rattle set, rattled. I give it 10 minutes. Most of the time they're going to show them, which I'm not rattling for 10 minutes. I'm a good session, boom, boom, boom. And a lot of people, they get the cling, cling, cling. Deer don't fight like that. They hook up and they grind. A lot of times you hear that first initial bang, and then yeah, they're not grinding. They're just cling. They're grinding, not cling, cling. And a lot of people cling, 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 cling. The deer don't sound like that. They grind. But so I get in there, I rattle. I rattled for maybe, let's say, 15 seconds. Every time's a little different, whatever. If it's windier, I get a little bit loud, a little more. And nothing came in. So I'm like, Matt, let's slide in. Let's get a little bit closer. Cover maybe another 150 yards, maybe I'm going to get pretty close to the main chunk and we'll go there, rattle there. Set the decoy up. I got my decoy. I set the damn decoy up here to where if he wants to come downwind of it, I'm going to deck him. Well, a deer, this is what a deer always thinks. When they hear the rattle, they're wanting to come and get visual on the deer. And a lot of guys, you got to set up. That's why I like the decoy, because when they get in there, oh, they see the decoy. Okay, that's the deer. But in their mind, they're like, where's the other deer at? They want to
Yeah.
get eyes on two deer. They've never ran in a natural situation. A deer has never ran in. There's one deer. That's it. No, there's always two. They've seen. That's how they communicate. And when they run in and they don't see nothing, they're going to try to come downwind of you and try to get wind. There's every situation in the wild. A deer, when it comes downwind of you rattling, if you don't smell, like I used to back in the day, kind of getting off subject, but this is a cool little trick. If you ever have a spot where you rattle and they're going to come downwind of you, you got to spray some buck piss or some kind of deer dander, something that smells like a deer. So when they come downwind, they smell it. Every situation in the wild, when a deer comes downwind of that situation, they smell them guaranteed. So when they get downwind of it and they don't smell the deer, they're freaked out. A lot of times they think that they smell you. They don't smell you. They're just like, okay, I should be smelling something and I'm out of here. And they communicate by smell.
So there's like multiple things I feel like you can take away from that. Just that one story is like, maybe it doesn't happen all the time. Like you can't be some areas you just can't do it, but maybe thinking about your setup a little bit when you know you're going to set up and rattle, thinking about, am
Yeah.
I at a spot where it's like super thick behind me where getting downwind just maybe isn't an option for him, or just maybe just
It's
thinking about that.
as I've ran in situations where, all of a sudden you're right here and not the right spot. You rattle, and here he comes, and he comes around, and he's coming through, and now it's thick, and you can't even shoot down there. So the setup is key. Sometimes you just gotta just try it. Not every setup's perfect, but that situation, I rattled, and I was in a pretty good little spot. I thought it was as good as I could get at the moment, and I'm gonna say 6-7 minutes went by, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, they just ain't going down. Well, then I reached down on I have the Wrangler stretch fit pants. That's what I wear when I hunt doing this game. I wear the tan ones. They got the little zipper pocket there, and I unzipped that sucker and grabbed my phone, looking at it, and I'm like looking on Onyx. Well, maybe where else can I go and go do this here? And after we get done with this setup, man, well, I'm in the middle of a damn hunt, like absolutely wrong. I shouldn't even have never grabbed my phone. I guess I wasn't confident one was coming. I get on my damn phone, looking on Onyx. I look up. No, what I did, yeah, I actually go to put my phone away, and I put it in my pocket, and I look up, and this damn thing, I see a deer, and I see half of a rack. I'm like, holy shit, it's a giant. I was like 170s plus in my mind. And then I'm just like, don't move. You got him spotted, Matt. And he's watching. And he's like, yep, I see him. And he can see how really big he is. He's got the camera zoomed in. I'm with my own eyes at, I don't know, he's 70 yards in the brush. And I'm like, or maybe less, I don't know. And I'm like, I could tell he's big, but he knew. Matt's not gonna say he's 200. It really get me psyched up. But
Come to
I knew he
find
was
out,
big enough. I'm killing him whether he's 60, 150. I don't care. I mean, but I know he's big. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what should I do here? He sees the decoy, and now he's seen my head move. This movement, he's got the decoy spotted. And now he's seen my head move, and now he thinks I'm the other deer. Now he's got our damn location pegged. He's like, okay, there's the one deer, there's the other deer. Now he's got both these bucks that he heard fighting. So now he's got my location, which that is, you do not want him to have your location. And so anyway, he started coming. Well, I'm like, I got to get down on my knees to be able to shoot when he goes there because the brush was high and I could shoot under the brush and kill his ass. Well, he starts coming around to check me out. He still sees a decoy. He's trying to get me dialed in, which he thinks I'm a buck. He comes down around there. I get down on my knee and he just stops before. If he would have just took 2 more steps, I would have crushed his ass. He was, I don't know, 27 yards or something. I don't know what he was. And he just stopped and he's like, you know what? I'm going to turn back around. I'm going to go back around this way and come in. So he turns around. Now I got to stand up once he gets behind the tree to stand up, and I got to do it quiet enough. So he's coming around. He's getting ready to come into my clearing to get ready to fight this decoy at 20 yards. And I literally, I'm like, I got to stand up. And I was, my legs were so damn cramped. It was unbelievable. I was in a horrible little situation. I come up and the deer was already weirded out because he's like, man, I can see in there, but I can't see no deer. So he was already
Yeah.
alert with that little area. He wasn't scared, but he just sensed something was weird there. And he starts coming around and he's getting ready to come in my clearing. And I come up, put some brush behind it. He couldn't see me come up because there was some brush blocking his view. I come up and my cam just barely just scratched the edge of the tree and he just took off. Like he knew if
Yeah.
anything funny sounding come from there, I can't see nothing there. I'm rolling and he rolled up out of there. I was so pissed off. I would not have nicked that tree. I would have killed it was 210, I think 210 at 20 yards. That's a decoy.
Yeah. That's like another good point to bring up too, is like, forget the setup and what cover you have and all that stuff, because some places just don't have great. You kind of got to make it work. Or like thinking about finding an area where if that deer did come in, kind of run it through your brain maybe a little bit before and say like, hey, do you think have deer fought here before? Or is this an area where, they would fight? Is it a little bit flatter? If you're in a really hilly area, find like maybe a bench or like something a little bit flatter on top or in the bottom, or
Yes.
make it make sense because the deer see through that. Like they're not
Oh yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, if you can find if the best situation is if you can get near a clump or put to wherever they come from, they have to come through an open to get downwind of you, but they're going to come close. You know what I mean? And then you can deck them before they get downwind of you is the key. But the decoy thing, I like bringing the decoy because when you rattle and all of a sudden they see the decoy. Okay, and now they're focused on that, not focused on you. And most of the time when I'm doing a rattle setup, I'm not going to be right behind the decoy. I'm going to be off to the side behind a tree or in some brush just so they're focused on the decoy. But if it's a situation where there's no cover, I'm getting behind, I'm going to rattle, I'm going to get behind the decoy. And if I'm in the open, the only situation I got with the way the wind is, then I'll just be behind the decoy and I'll just, when one comes out, I'll just, become one with that decoy and you draw back behind that sucker. And when they come out, you deck them. But that's the only time I set behind a decoy on a rattle setup is if it's open and I can't get it hid anywhere. I don't know. I mean,
You
I
can
don't.
say
Yeah.
firsthand too, like I've had so many times where like I rattle or whatnot and have one come in and they hang up it's like a turkey. You kind of got to think of the ground game like turkey hunting, and people don't realize how many similarities there are, like running and gunning for turkeys and there is ground hunting deer. It's a little different in ways, but they hang up a lot of times. And if they don't have any visual, I've had it so many times where I don't use a decoy just for the sake of the places I hunt, carrying it in
Yeah.
and whatnot. But they come in there and they're looking. They know it's so amazing to see, like, they could pick off a fly on a tree, like, he's the one that
Man.
made that noise. Like,
Yeah.
they know exactly where they're going.
It's funny how
It's
they
kind of
come.
crazy.
They know, and it's yeah, it's oh man, and it's not. Here's the thing with rattle deer don't fight all the time. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you can rattle too much, and it's like, man, get a little too clean clang, too much rattling, can hurt you too. Like some of these times, most of the time, you hear the little cling clang and the little puke bucks. They'll be sparring. We've seen it hundreds of times where you'll see a couple of them just kind of like clean, just they're playing, they're learning, tinkling their horns. They're, that's. I
I think
mean, yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
you brought up a good point too. I think people should try it out and just see if it makes a difference or not, or like really evaluate their sets and like how they're rattling. Because I know I learned this from my dad, like when I was young, because he was big on rattling. He ground hunted forever. He hunted out of state. He killed all his biggest deer off the ground, and I just kind of took a lot of stuff from
Thanks.
him. And
Yeah.
he always taught me, like what you're talking about, like a big, like that initial impact of those horns coming together, like a crack, and then it's just like keeping them pretty close together and just like twisting them a little bit. It's not like a constant back and like
Yeah,
pounding.
they're not
Like
going like this.
no,
They're
yeah,
grinding, yeah, just become
and
one. I mean,
then
just visualize that, how what the heck,
yeah, if you can get your hands on a recording of deer fighting, like same thing as like turkey calling, like figure out what the actual animals do and just try to sound like them at the
Yeah.
basic level. Like it's not rocket science,
And
but
use some real horns. Reuse real horns. I mean, there's some stuff that, there's some I don't know, man. There's some stuff, the fake horns and all that. Just, I mean, I don't know, man. Bring the real shit. And if you don't, which I haven't done this yet, but my main set I broke just rattling too hard, like crushed them
yeah,
too hard and I snapped.
yeah,
But I used two of the same side. That certain horn I have, it's both this, it sheds off the same buck. And I like doing this. I'll hold the one and then I bring that one into this one and then grind into this main horn instead of just whatever. I use that one that's the same beam, and then I bring that one in as like a fork and then I'm working it like that. I'm not even moving this one. I'm bringing this one in there, and now I'm making that noise. I don't know. That's something that everybody's got the little things they like to do. That's my confident way of doing it, and I think it sounds damn good. And I'll do a little buck growling and roaring and shit as I'm doing it. I mean, just
yeah,
doing all that and they hear that and it's like, oh my God, it's a damn jungle gym, a buck party over there. There must be all kinds of good looking does. And then it just kind of gives them another confidence. They hear that cling clanging and then they hear a grunt. Okay, that wasn't somebody cling clanging around putting a tree stand up or breaking brush or whatever. Deer hear stuff, and if they can connect the dots and you throw a grunt in there too, they just, oh, okay, that is a deer. Let's get in there. Just little
backing
stuff
it
like
up with
that,
some
man.
secondary noises is a good
You
point
damn
too. Like
right.
whether that's making some ground noise in the leaves or like the hoofs in the ground, knocking some leaves up at the same time. Obviously, you don't want to be out there running in circles if in case they can see you or they're
Yep.
closer than you think. Add a little
Yeah.
bit of realism, like those secondary noises, like whether that's ground noise or grunting into it too. I think
Oh
absolutely.
yeah. I like to sometimes, as you bring that up, I like to maybe um, I'll grunt first most of the time, and that's letting if there's one close, instead of just blowing him out. There might be one 40 yards in there, and all of a sudden you just boom. It's like, holy shit, what was that? Just like we would make us jump. So I like to grunt, and then oh, I heard a grunt. Was that a grunt? And then all of a sudden, give it 30 seconds to a minute later, and all of a sudden, now they're like, okay, I heard the grunt, deer. They just relate to stuff instead of just jamming them damn horns together. Some on a set that you're sliding in, I think it's better just to grunt first and kind of, might get one up on his feet. And now he's like, okay, there's deer over there, and then hit him. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
and not
nothing wrong
overdoing
with
it either.
grunting before you rattle.
Yeah. I'm the same way. It's either like some soft grunts and then the rattling and the ground noise. I don't usually. Sometimes I've just wanted to do it, but I've thrown a snort wheeze like before I start.
Oh, yeah,
But
so are we.
I kind of I've gotten away from that just because the way I think about it, which is completely wrong. I've had so much luck, like just snort wheezing on its own. I don't want to throw like if that's gonna work. I don't want them to be like 50, 100 yards away. Hear that come in, and then all of a sudden there's you're banging the horns together and then you spook them. But
Yeah,
that's just the way
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's an instinctual thing. Sometimes and it's dead quiet, or you can see a lot and there ain't one close. You know what I mean? Then you can hit the horns. But yeah, that tight stuff, it's a touchy deal. You got to just almost grunt or snort wheeze and just let it set for a while, and hopefully one comes if he hears you, and if not, one didn't hear you, and now you're hitting the horns, which you're getting deer that didn't hear the grunt or snort wheeze. They were out of that distance, but they can hear the horns now. So it's almost it's another trick in the bag. It's your little tricks.
Yeah.
To success.
Before we, I'm running low on time. I don't mean to cut you
Yeah, I'm
off,
sorry. Yeah,
but no, you're good. I got a couple kind of quick questions, some funner
bring it,
ones.
bring it on, buddy.
Yep. So the couple questions I had was, it's kind of controversial, but just in a quick answer, fixed blades or expandables for on the ground specifically.
Fixed blade on the ground. Um,
Okay.
Here's the
You
deal.
can give a little bit of reasoning. Yeah.
The reason why is, listen, I've messed up some deer with mechanicals, and I feel like a two blade, the Indians had it right the first time. A two blade it's a wedge. It's not gonna grab any weeds. It'll deflect, which a lot of people don't understand. I kind of got a crazy setup with how I hunt on the ground, and you run into a bunch of weeds. You got to have something heavy enough. Hunter grainer, it's going to hit the weed and spear off. So I run, what the hell do I, here, I'll show you what the hell I run. I'm getting all the bows set up here. So that's the 125 I run. That's the Silver Flame. And we're not sponsored by them. We like the stuff. Um, this right here, let me show you this. This is kind of cool. So there's the 125. I run two of those for long distance open, or not long distance, but just if I need some range, the 125, I run the 125. Then I run the 200s. I run two of those in there, which these all shoot pretty goddamn close the same. This one's not going to drop much. I mean, I figured out how much they drop. So if I get in a situation, I'm going to throw that 200 most of the time. That's what I've been shooting them with right there. And that 200's
So
just got a lot more weight. You're going to drive through the grass better if you got grass. The 125 is going to deflect off the grass 100%, a lot more, a little bit more, but that 200's driving. And then if they get in the thick shit and daddy's got to send an arrow, I ain't shot one with that yet, but we're sending that thing. That's a 350 grainer through a compound. And that thing is going and plowing like a damn spear through there. There's nothing stopping it. But if you are there, listen, there is a expandable out that is a good. I don't know if it'd be good on the ground. It's Bomar's the Beast. That head's that's the best mechanical ever made by far.
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead. The thing's
is it,
lagging. Go ahead.
no, yep. Yeah. I mean, that broadhead, regardless of what people think about the person or the personality, like he makes good products, and
Oh yeah, no,
that's mean looking head.
I like Josh. He's a great dude, hell of a hunter. I had the privilege to film him out in Colorado this year. He called me, wanted me to come film him, and he's been a whitetail adrenaline fan for a long time, and he wanted to get together and do a hunt, and I went out, and the guy's a hell of a hunter, man. He's really good at what he does. He's a perfectionist, and we had a damn ball, man. I filmed him out there, and that we had a good time. And him and David, which is the designer or the engineer for the Beast, they've had to go through a lot of little things, but they have built the best mechanical broadhead if you want to go that route. The weed thing, I just don't know about it yet. He's gonna do some tests, but I mean, I'm throwing this down there. I feel like these are some for the money. These are some of the best. These are the Silver Flame grizzly sticks, and I love them. I love those. But
Yeah.
tree stand hunting, if you're wanting to shoot a mechanical and you just don't want to go that route and you want distance, there probably ain't a better head out than the Beast. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
So
I'm
for
not
you,
sponsored by anybody. I'm just saying, like that's my own instinctual thing. You couldn't. I mean, the rage deal. That was a whole. I lost 3 or 4 big giant deer with a rage back in the day because I hit him in the shoulder blade. But should I hit him in the shoulder blade? No, I didn't plan to hit him there. That's where I hit him, and they didn't zero penetration. So
yeah, they're all for intended purposes,
yeah,
but yeah, for you, it looks like 2-blade, fixed blade on the ground, tried and
look at
true.
that thing, dude. That is the real
Yeah.
deal right there. I'm telling you, 200 grain, or a lot of people are scared. 200 grain does not drop that much. I'm shooting stuff in 10 to 20, 30 yards. That thing ain't dropping, but so it's going to be like here, they're like 30 yards. You're dropping, 3 to 4 inches. I don't know the exact number. I'm not going to say exact inches, but I've shot them both at the same range to see how much the drop is. And it's like that. Not enough to, you just know to just go up an inch higher with that head, and you're crushing, and you got 200 grains of power blowing through. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Last question for you. What's your go-to road snack, like, that you take out when you're hunting all day?
But I love some pumpkin seeds. I like
Pumpkin
pumpkin
seeds.
seeds. Yeah, I know that's a random deal. I started eating them. There's one brand, David's makes the best pumpkin seed. They're amazing. Don't the bags
Flavored
are
or just
young.
salted?
I like the salted, natural, just light salt, roasted. Absolutely love that. And yeah, I like, in the middle of the day, you gotta get you a little something to keep you awake, a little energy. I mean, I don't drink them anymore, but the little Monster peach tea, man, I'd have one of them, and that would just, you're wide awake in the middle of the day cruising. You get wore out cruising. But yeah, no, I like all jerky. My wife makes the best deer jerky of all time, so she makes it though, so she don't let me have the whole batch. She'll give me some here and
Yeah.
there, and she also
Little.
makes some trail mix, or the Chex Mix, buttery Chex Mix, gallon bags, and I'm just wolfing on that shit. So, and eggnog, A&E eggnog.
I've never had eggnog. I'm gonna have to try it.
Oh my God! Well, here's the deal: don't let it ruin your taste buds by getting some other junk. You need to get A&E, only A&E eggnog. Look it up. Everything else is, yeah, you're not going to get the real experience. A&E will ruin your program, and you will gain 5 pounds, but you'll lose it. You lose it after deer
Yeah.
season.
These hills do something to you during the year, so I'm not worried about that. I don't have anything else for you. We'll get on again at some point, but I
Yeah, you're damn
appreciate your
right, man.
time. Let it.
I'm glad it worked out. I'm sorry it's just, this time of year is always dang busy. But like I said, in an hour or two here, I was just working on the bows stuff, getting the new bows ready to go here. Little sneak peek right there. That's the
But yeah,
new them prime. That's my wife's bow. I got the same one. I haven't even got it set up yet. Probably do that this week and get to shooting, flinging arrows. But good luck to you this season.
yeah. Why don't you let everybody know where they can follow along with you, whether that's through the white Jared stuff or
Yeah.
point them towards your
So,
fishing stuff too, because I know you
yeah. No,
got
Jared's
some content there too.
yeah, Whitetail Adrenaline on Instagram and Facebook. Whitetail Adrenaline, the madman Jared Scheffler. We got videos, tons of amazing videos. If you haven't seen Whitetail Adrenaline, check it out. Ground, we sneak these big bucks on the ground, kill them in their bed, decoy them. Some of the best footage we've ever had is coming out. But if you haven't seen Whitetail Adrenaline, I would recommend getting Defiance, the first DVD. If nobody's ever watched it and they want to order a DVD, you can get a DVD, and that'd be the first one I would buy. It's an amazing story. You can also, there's one called Resurgence, and you can get that on Prime or Apple TV. You can actually just get on your TV right now and buy the deal, just like you would buy a series or whatever, or a movie. You can buy Resurgence Whitetail Adrenaline, and you can watch it right in your house right now if you don't have a DVD player. Got a lot of really cool stuff there. And then my own page, Chancy Walters, on Instagram and Facebook. I sell my artwork on there, wildlife art. I paint a lot of people's deer and their dogs and feathers and big canvases and everything like that. But yeah, full-time artist, ready to kill some deer. It's October, November will be here before we know it.
Yeah, I'll be following along. Hopefully you have some good luck. We'll hop on again, but I appreciate you
Yes,
hopping on with me.
absolutely, man. Cool. Hope the podcast goes well, and yeah, we'll keep in touch.